Only here, the best odds and widest coverage. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're live here from Kiev for Starladder Season 10, day number 1. We're going to wrap it up now, Sin. We'll put a cherry on top. It's, of course, time for IAP versus Secret Team. Secret Team, 1-0, only undefeated team left in this group. But IAP, they took down a pretty decent opponent, VP, looking to make it a 2-for-1 day.
Yeah, I think this game is, obviously it's a really important game, but there's a couple of reasons why it's important. IAP have very, very much to win, because if they win the game, they secure themselves to go into the winner's bracket. And it's the same for Secret. If Secret wins this, there's going to be a 3-way tie, and they're going to have to play a tiebreaker tomorrow. So both teams have a lot to win. I think IAP have more to win than Secret do. Or there's only going to be a 3-way tiebreaker if Secret beats Na'Vi as well, of course, which happens tomorrow. But there's a lot on the line in this game as far as standings goes going forward in the tournament. And I think Every one of us thinks of Secret as the favorites. I gave them the least edge over IAP out of anyone on the panel. I said 70-30. What do you think?
I think 70-30 is pretty fair. Maybe.
Now it's 50-50. They got DP.
Yeah, we are into the draft now, of course, guys. This will be the final game for IAP in the group stage. Should they lose this, they drop to 1-2, and Secret would be improved to 2-0. Like you said, Sid, still have to beat Na'Vi to secure the 3-0 advantage. As, well, Mirana picked up. They'll go with the Tidehunter here, too, for Secret. The puppy Mirana, every game. It's the same thing for them. And I guess as long as it keeps on working, why stop?
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising considering what other teams seem to be prioritizing right now, because there's other heroes in the pool right now that a lot of teams would go for over it. Of course, I guess the most mentionable here is probably Razor, which Secret, however, have had a lot of... they had really poor results with that at ESL 1 New York, so perhaps they've just backed away from that hero a bit and been like, okay, we don't play it that well, and we corner ourselves in the draft, so they've just maybe even given up on the hero, I want to say. We don't see them picking it at all, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not...
And Skyrath was also there. And,
I was talking to Arteezy earlier today, and he said he's still apparently spamming Ice Frog, telling him to nerf Razor, so trying to prove that the hero's too good, perhaps by winning with it for EG, which he's certainly been doing. Maybe it just doesn't work for Secret at the end of the day. They seem to excel more so far with the harder carries, and not really like the... We've seen the S4 Ember here or there, but even then, that's a hero that can scale pretty damn hard in the late game. So.
Yeah, and it's the kind of game Secret like to play a lot of the time.
I think this ban from IAP especially. First phase, they ban out the Ogre for No-Tail, which also somewhat bans out Kuro, because there's certain heroes that they like to pick, like Sven, for example, PA, which just aren't that good if they don't have like an attack speed or move speed buff. They ban out the Wisp for Kuro, Sin, and now they're banning out S4's Ember. So they definitely have done their homework against
And
Secret.
they're not scared of the Shaker, which is another thing. Like, this is a hero that Secret's been playing pretty much every single game they can get their hands on it, or can't get the Wisp. It's been the go-to hero for No-Tail in most situations. They might be banning it out now. I think it's got great synergy with the other Secret heroes. It's also a hero they used in the first game of the day, where they also had it in combination with Tide and Mirana, actually. So I think that would be a good ban. But alternatively, they might just willingly give it away and have some sort of a plan on how to counter it. And speaking of good bans, this Centaur did so much work for IAP against Virtus Pro. I think that was a very good ban.
No Mystic Flare Stomp combos to kill the carry like 40 times. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it felt that way. If they want something to combo with the Scarith Mage, there is the Void, but the issue is he's a little bit more farm dependent as the game goes on. Isn't going to bring as much to the table as a Centaur if he's just a Chronosphere, because it's got a much longer cooldown.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the damage output either.
But it does have very nice synergy with DP as well, though. Like, it's a classic thing from TI4. If you got your hands on those two heroes and the Void, you're like pretty much cruising towards a victory, unless the enemy team had like extreme early push, which we saw in a lot of games at TI4, but which has been nerfed a lot. And with this setup for Secret, that's not what they're aiming for. This is not a pushing strat from them by any means. So
very good fighting strat,
I think they could get away with a Void pick. I think it's a good call.
It's good against Tide as well, because it deals with Kraken Shell. So
we might even see Secret banning it. I think it's that good that they might consider banning it out here. But for now, it's IAP with a ban. They're using a lot of time on this one, so perhaps trying to figure out which lane they want to counter out. Of course, they've already banned one hero from S4. We might see them banning another one from that mid lane. Or maybe that was the only one they didn't want to deal with, which they saw in Secret's game 1 today.
It is a bit interesting to ban Ember, considering they have a double silence for him. One of them a very reliable instant silence with no cast animation, but I think S4's just had such good results, it's justified.
Yeah. And they're going to ban Medusa, which we talked about earlier, and Secret likes to play. So, once again, willingly, they will give Secret the Shaker if they want it. It makes me think IAP has a plan, because they would have seen how well No-Tail played in that game 1 and how big of an impact he was. He was probably MVP for Secret in that game, to be honest. And he's had so many games where he just plays a very, very solid Shaker. I don't think I've seen a poor performance from him since this roster was formed on that hero.
Secret will remove the Sand Cane, something that I mentioned they've run quite a bit for... I believe it's Chemo who plays it for them in the jungle.
Yep.
So when he gets that stacks campsite, gets the early blink. Good combination for the Skyreth Mage. There's still the Void lurking. I doubt we'll see Secret take it for themselves. Where does Secret go? We've talked a decent amount about what IAP would be thinking about, kind of obvious synergies for them. This is a very open-ended start.
I think they're picking Shaker.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't see a reason as to why not. It's good to have a long-range, like... just a pauser against something like Skyreth and Death Prophet who are looking to like advance into the fight. Just buying that 2-second timing with a high-level fissure makes a really big difference. They're going to get a Viper first, though, which I don't feel like they play that often.
We saw S4 play at mid. Who did he play it against? Oh, it was against Alliance. He played it against Alliance in an online match, and he just destroyed Ape Mother's Magnus. That was the game where Alliance came back and won anyway with a 6-slotted Loda Bristleback with Empower, just crushing Kuroki's Clinks later on in the game. So, obviously you pick this hero to win your lanes and to build an early mech, or just tank up and be your frontliner. Is decent against Skyreth Mage with the additional magic resistance, just being durable. But end of the day, like, I feel like we always say that, but then you're up against Skyreth Mage. If you get caught by a stun and Mystic Foot, you're probably dead anyway. And IAP will take the Shaker. All right.
Snatch it here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's in a sense the same kind of logic as why Secret should pick it here. Once you get, which is what it's probably going to be Simba playing the Tidehunter, comes in for a Ravage. If you get a good fissure off, you basically negate the Ravage. You don't negate it, right, because you still take the damage and the stun, but you let the stun expire so you can turn around and fight. And I think it's a really good
They have good solutions when Tide blinks in. Use them if you have the Death Prophet farming that. Skyreth can instant silence. Shaker can fissure. Now this assumes you're quick, but
yeah.
They've been pretty quick
vision, but
so
they had
far
good
today.
vision against VP, so I wouldn't be surprised if they can see the fights coming once in a while in this game before they actually happen. So,
pretty well-rounded drafts from both teams. Some push, some 5-man potential, decent gank. I like IAP's a bit better, but I think part of that is just that we haven't seen Secret lay all their cards on the table.
Yeah, there's going to be perhaps the Kuro hero picked up now, unless they want to play him on the Viper, which I don't think.
It's been S4 every time I've seen them.
And it's also, if you pick it at this point, you're probably picking it to try to beat Death Prophet in the lane. So it makes a lot of sense here. He, of course, needs to be a little bit careful. Earthshaker and Skyreth Mage is not a bad roaming duo. Both have very, very long range, so they will actually initiate on you even before their smoke breaks, which is a very unique characteristic for 2 support heroes to be able to do that.
Yeah, so even in daytime, you don't know it's coming until you're already stunned.
And if Death Prophet has just Crypt Swarmed you once or twice, you're on like 2/3 HP, it's a kill. So it's definitely something they can work with. We're going to have an Elder Titan, though, for the first time in this tournament. This is
definitely different for them.
Is this a support or a safe lane? Because I would be very surprised if the Tide is
Or it could be a mid-Elder Titan, an off-lane Tide, and then a Viper safe lane.
I don't think S4 plays Elder Titan, though, does he?
I don't think so. I have seen some 4-position Elder Titan. It was primarily from Invictus Gaming with their old roster heading into TI4. the basic idea was they were running Ember Spirit. You drop the Spirit, you stomp, then he Sleight of Fist chains. 2 heroes are caught in place, and they just killed him. So it can be a Pwn duo. There's no Ember, obviously, this game.
We just got a stat that No-Tails played it twice and won both times. So I think it's a support.
Okay.
It's pretty likely at least. They're going to grab the Nature's Prophet here. Gives them some more pushing power together with the Death Prophet. But
0% win rate on the Nature's Prophet.
Out of how many games? 5 games?
Oh, and 5.
Time to pull out the artillery here.
Anyway, I don't know.
But it's not a bad Prophet game, I think. He will be able to split push fairly well. He needs to watch out for arrows, but apart from that, there's no like long-range initiation so far.
And you can just trance the Scout for those and dodge a lot of them.
And in addition to that, just good synergy with a Death Prophet to push out the lanes, and of course, perhaps a part of the reasoning here, we'll see how he plays it, but he can of course use it to annoy the support so they can't pull. It's the classic Nature's Prophet style that was played a lot during TI3. And if they do that, a hero like Elder Titan on support, if he doesn't get levels, that hero is extremely weak in the mid game. So, like he has pretty much nothing to bring to the table if he doesn't have high levels on the.
Levels are so important on him that you can get no farm, but if you have a level 4 Spirit and the aura, you still offer a lot to your team on the flip side.
But you need to get there.
Yeah, but you do need the levels.
If Nature's Prophet counters them out very nicely,
IAP
I think
thinks it's a core though. They just banned Crystal Maiden. Interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, it could also still be a core. That's the thing. Like, there's nothing Secret they might not have decided yet what they want to play it as. I'm just wondering what the logic was for them in picking the Elder Titan. They don't have like a very obvious synergy with it. Now they do. Remove all the armor and have Sven hit hard.
One cleave to roll them all.
Yeah. So I would be very surprised if this is a support Sven and a farming Elder Titan. I think it's the other way around. We're going to play Kuro on that Sven. And it's a good solution. So one thing we've seen teams, I think, misdraft today was that a lot of teams went for spread damage carries instead of having heavy single target focus when you're playing against something like a Death Prophet. Secret will kill that single target. They have Viper, very hard, single target damage, and slow. Elder Titan will remove the armor, and then Sven with 1 or 2 good cleaves will be able to bring that.
And IAP, go for a third core of a Razor. They're looking a little bit light on Teamfight and Lockdown here, but if they get their farm on Razor and Death Prophet, they have like the ultimate anti-melee carries right now. Razor and Death Prophet.
It's a pretty solid pick here overall. It might also...
I just worry for Chemo this game. I see so much pressure on him. You've got Tidehunter, Sven, and Mirana who can all initiate. For Secret, you've got one hero who can really control the fights for IAP.
Yeah, that's true. I'm assuming they will get a Yules on Jay, so they'll have that to control with. And arguably, Skywrath also has quite a bit of control. Not lockdown, but at least something to create some space within the fights. But what I'm wondering with this Razor last pick is if they're actually going to run the Razor mid to give the Death Prophet a better lane. Because looking at Secret's picks, they do have the potential of running an aggressive tri-lane, but I don't think they want to run that tri-lane into a Shaker lane. It's very unlikely to get kills, and it might backfire very hard. And I think Razor overall might do better against Viper than DP will. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
It's a choice they can make, at least.
Oh, what are these? All right, well, that's neither here nor there. Hello, Valette. We get into the game now. The players have selected up their heroes. IAP, 1-1 so far in the group stage. For Group B, Secret, only 1-0 because they've only played 1 game, but they look to make it a 2-0 start, remain undefeated, and set up a potential sweep of these group stages. IAP on the dire side. We run through their draft now. Fox playing the Razor. Chemo, your Earthshaker. Jay will be handling the Death Prophet. That's RR on the Skywrath Mage. And that does leave Ewe playing the Nature's Prophet, the safe lane. They go aggressive off the bat. And for the side of Secret, we hear a bit of applause from the crowd.
I have no idea what they're applauding for. They were applauding before the counter warding happened, so that was not.
I think it's just some introduction.
Yeah.
They've got Big Daddy No-Tail playing your Elder Titan. They get a Fissure. They push him into the trees. Oh, the magical Fissure. It's the Fissure to win the... He doesn't have tangos. He stomps. Can they keep getting vision of him? They're coming with the start. Are you serious? I can only imagine the team chat of Secret right now. How did it happen? Easiest first blood of IAP's life.
That is one of the craziest first bloods I have ever seen. I have watched a lot of games of Dota 2. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. He actually knocked him into a place where he was completely stuck even after the fissure expired. He was just caught in the tree line.
That was...
What an incredible fissure.
That was
Chemo.
miraculous.
You wanted him to show up in this game? Okay, you got it.
All right. Well, they didn't take the No-Tail Shaker. Will it come back to haunt them? We'll find out. So far, Chemo is saying yes, it will. Anyway, for Secret, wrapping up our introductions, we'll have Simba playing your offlane Tidehunter. Didn't have the best game in their earlier match, but will look to step it up. Meanwhile, Puppy on the Mirana, trying to set up an arrow mid, but spotted out by a tree on S4. It's an S4 Sven going mid, and that does leave Kuroki on the Viper, and of course, the ill-fated Big Daddy Elder Titan, not off to the hottest start.
And the lanes here from IAP with this dual lane down bottom, I think might work out very well for them here. Razor and Skywrath, I think, has the upper hand in this lane, especially with No-Tail skilling Echo Stomp level 1. He can't really bring anything to this lane right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe even trying to go aggressive once they hit level 2, like going for a concussive shot on Kuro, stealing all his damage, and then trying to go for the kill down here. I think that would be pretty likely to succeed. And at the same time, they could also just bring down Chemo and just fight them 3-on-3 here with Puppy rotating in. As for the side lanes, Prophet probably has the upper hand against Tide in this top lane, especially since he started with Boots, which is pretty weak in this one-on-one. Would be way better off with a Salve and a Stout Shield. And then in the middle lane, Death Prophet versus Sven easily favors the Death Prophet. So I think IAP has the potential to win all 3 lanes here.
Yeah, and the other thing I like is that they are doing their job to protect their mid lane early. It's a Sven mid who obviously isn't going to win the lane 1v1, but has a lot of kill potential if that Mirana comes in. And they've parked the Earthshaker mid for the most part. He came in earlier when they jumped in with an arrow, and well, since then he's been dewarding, or at least trying to deward, and just generally in the neighborhood. And so Puppy gives up on the mid ganks. He's going to rotate towards bottom. He's found a great spot in the trees here. No vision of this rotation, I believe. Do they actually get something done with it? That's the question.
This is not an easy arrow to land, and I don't even think they have kill potential if it does until No-Tail's level 2, which will be coming now, so perhaps. At least the Skywrath is here to support. There's no Shaker though, yeah. He's kind of exposing himself here.
RR is in an awkward position. If he gets caught by an arrow, he may just die with 0 base armor.
I don't think so though. If it hits...
Oh, hits the creep.
Yeah. If they go on the Skywrath, I think they're going to get turned on, because then Fox will just drain Kuro's damage, and they don't have the potential. It has to hit the Razor, and they have to focus the Razor. Else they just don't have enough damage. With Puppy being level 1 and Elder Titan level 2, there's not enough damage between these two heroes. It's a very weak support duo. You even see them going down here right now. Fox, they're going to do exactly this, going in with both of them on Kuro.
He has Stomp.
Kuro is going to die.
Too late. 2-hero Stomp, not enough.
They're winning a 2 versus 3 lane. Oh, even a great fissure here. No, Puppy won't be able to get through.
Barely. Barely. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, S4 trying to turn the tides as he jumps onto Ewe. Has the boots advantage, though, so he's able to stay out of range. There's a bottle charge, not enough to get stun mana. He stops to summon some Treants. Could have gotten off 1 auto attack, but I believe needed 2 anyway. So Ewe just trying to toy with them in the top, near the top rune, and well, both heroes leave top lane. Tidehunter even strolled forth, but now Simba's going to head back top. Yeah, all things considered, Sin, not only are they finding the early kills, they're out-farming Secret's cores across the board.
They're winning really hard. They're 2,000 gold ahead in a 3.5-minute game. They're winning all 3 lanes. Their rotations have been correct. And for me, Team Secret has a really steep recovery curve, because their 2 supports can really not provide anything. So if they don't win the laning stage, they can't just go roam lanes and find kills on their own. Maybe they can help out the Sven, but even then there's just so much counterplay potential. TP in from Earthshaker with a fissure. Prophet can even port in with a teleport, and they might even be able to get a counter kill. So
it's just hard to find these kills.
This is a very bad position already for Secret.
Yeah, that fissure might just turn out to be the key ingredient for IAP to make this a 2-1 group stage. Still a lot of work left ahead of them. And for Secret, you are at least getting levels on your Tidehunter and levels in OK farm on your Sven. So you look at their lineup, great gankers, really strong pickoff potential in the mid game. But they'll have to count on these cores to make up for where the supports are lacking. And as I talk about that, they go to bottom again. Off. On to Kuro. Damage is being stolen. Nice dodge by Fox, but he does get caught by the Echo Stomp. Won't matter, though, as he's woken up and finishes off the Viper. Another kill for IAP. They've got the crowd into this one, too. They're digging it.
Yeah. It's funny when we started the tournament today that you thought, or we were talking about how IAP might not be ready for the early aggression and playing the laning stage. Well, I feel like it's the best part of their game so far in the tournament. Like, their laning stage has been really good, and the way not only how they play, but also how they put their lanes has just been spot on so far. And they're really just exploiting Secret's weak laning here and getting a lot out of it.
They better not go in on this.
Arrow
not hitting RR. Another 2-hero fissure. didn't fully catch them out. Puppey may go down, leaps away, but Kuroki's getting lashed. Ewe joins the fray. It's 2 down. It's going to be a tri-lane wipe if Big Daddy can't turn it. He doesn't have the firepower. Maybe gets the right click on Ewe. Jukes through the trees, heads back the other way, outmaneuvers him, and then Puppey comes in again. He hits the arrow, looking for the chemo counter kill, and it looks like he'll get it. Puppey bails out the tri-lane here big time. Still,
he's stuck
that was
now.
a tri-lane
He's
wipe.
stuck without lead. He's going to die.
Jay joins it too. Bimbo arrives. He delivers. Execration out of control. Now beating Secret 7-2 with the first blood, and we're only 6 minutes into the laning stage. They need a bailout from Fly big time now.
Yeah, I think Tide has to come out big in this game already. So much pressure on him. Even Jay now going on S4, who's completely alone, so he has to run away. Jay secures himself a bounty rune. That's going to be his level 7 if he wants to use it right now, or he can save it a little bit longer. He will use it, skilling the Witchcraft level 4, so going for the 304 build, very classic build for Death Prophets, and returns to push out mid. I knew IAP going into this game had a pretty good chance, which is why I said 70-30. I was not expecting this kind of early game under any circumstances from them. This is really world-class right now.
Well, they could have gotten an Earthshaker for themselves, right? They went for an Elder Titan. There was a freak accident where Noto got pushed into the trees by a fissure. Not something you can game plan on, but it's not just that. It's since then. Everything that IAP has done since that nice first blood and kind of lucky one was... It's just been spot on. They had the Earthshaker mid to protect the Death Prophet. They could use the Trance to scout the rotations of Puppey, and he does look for a kill top lane. There is a Ravage. They're just going to blow it now. There's a lone Treant.
Oh, no!
And Puppey throws his arrow right into it. He had vision on that, too. Oh, just...
Oh, my God. This is
whiffs
going
under pressure. What a disaster.
All sorts of wrong
and now they're going to dive bottom. They know there's no counterplay. They can go straight onto Big Daddy with the Fissure. They can dive onto Kuro, who doesn't even have boots yet. Just a Basilius. Fissure to start. Big Daddy trapped out. Now the Sprout from Ewe. The trap's been sprung. They'll lose the Elder Titan perhaps. No, kept alive for a time. Now they go into Fox, but he's drained a ton of damage. S4's got to finish him off quickly. There's stick charges here. Brings down one. Jukes into the trees. They block S4 off, so Fox can try and finish the job, and with 2 more lashes, these Treants are the new MVP. They keep on keeping Secret away. Too much stolen damage. Now Simba might go next. Secret absolutely self-destructing here in Kiev as IAP continue to impress and outplay them all over the map.
Just full-on outplay so far this game. Chemo.
These Treant blocks from Ewe have been incredible as well.
Well, everyone on the team has been playing pretty much perfectly so far in this game. All the rotations, all the decision-making, the movement, even the tower dives here, the way they spread out the damage and tank it up, like taking turns at it and then all escaping with very low health. I don't know. They look like a team that really want to go to the winner's bracket.
They win this game, they have I think they're guaranteed, right? Because that would mean that Secret could tie them 2-1. Na'Vi at best could be 2-1, but there can't be 2 more 2-1 teams, right? So if they win this, I think they're guaranteed.
Yeah, they're guaranteed because they're. Yeah, you're right.
Well, Secret
then we might have a tiebreaker for first place, but whoever wins that, no, IAP. If Na'Vi beats Secret, then Na'Vi's first in the group because they beat IAP.
Yeah,
Heads
but
up.
Secret would be 1 and 2 then. So they
but
will
then
be lower.
They won't get first place. So there's if there's another team with 2-1, depending on that. But yeah, let's see them close out the game first, right? It's still
that
a
has
long
been
way
where
to
they've
go,
looked a little shaky. Is they get a good lead and then sometimes they can't cinch the deal from there.
They have not had this kind of lead though. This is
absurd.
7,000 gold, 9 minutes
at
in.
9 minutes.
And that's with a lineup that's good at pushing too.
That's a mech for your Razor. Your Death Prophet is
Midas.
Exorcism, and a Midas picked up on the Prophet. Honestly, almost a forgotten item on this hero lately, I feel like. But with this kind of start, they have all the momentum in the world. How does Secret recover? Like, what is your game plan from here?
Well, they need to use the Ravage better than they did. Like, they just wasted the Ravage, which was the big counterplay ability. So once that was gone, IAP made the perfect call to just go and push the bottom tower. Now the Ravage is up again, and this one they need some sort of value from. It's because they do have the combination play, right? They can Ravage into Echo Stomp with Arrow, Sven, and Viper going in. It's not like they can't fight, but it needs to be way, way better executed than it's been so far.
The area where I really worry for them, though, is if the Death Prophet and the Razor just get too big.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sven's burst damage. That's assuming he has farm. Right now, S4 has 34 CS, and he doesn't even have treads. And already you're looking at a Razor about to complete a mechanism, a Death Prophet, who's quickly completing her Yule Scepter. they have to find those fights fairly soon, or they're just going to lose towers and not be able to engage.
Yeah, Kuroki isn't even level 6 yet on the safe lane Viper in a 10-minute game. They look for the
top jump, though, but their support's ready. The Earthshaker of Chemo gets caught. Oh, that could be bad. Now an arrow following up into Fox. The Earth Splitter here, too. They silence Simba. It won't matter, though, as he gets focused down by the Viper. Nice follow-up damage. If that Stormhammer doesn't also hit the Earthshaker, I think he gets a better fissure and they live through that. But instead, it's trouble for them. Now Jay, caught out mid, has his Yule Scepter ready. He'll pop it now. Bottling up and will retreat. But a great turn there for Secret, bringing this game back within closing distance. They also get their tower deny mid, as Jay narrowly dodging an arrow from Puppey.
Yeah, very impressive from Secret to get a 2-for-0 exchange there without using Ravage. Just very good spell usage. And impressive to see Big Daddy being as high level as he is, to be honest. He's level 7, and the Earth Splitter there was a very crucial part of it. So on a support Elro Titan, I really like his skill build in this game, that he has chosen to skill the ultimate and 2 points in Echo Stomp, because they really need it right now to play from behind. And that was the first step, but they got a 2-for-0. They lost a mid tower, which they did deny, though, but the top tower is also very low. So they've almost lost all their tier 1s in 11 minutes against a lineup that's good at pushing. If IAP keep the pressure up and take over the map, they could maybe do a Roshan for free at some point, maybe look for a tier 2 push and not too long with the Razor mech. Only 400 gold away.
But you really do want to do that soon.
They need way more than that.
You want to do it soon, because as soon as Fly completes this Ancient stack, he nearly has his own mech. He's already up to 1,400 gold. He'll be, what, around like 1,800, 1,900 by the time this is done. So he'll be close to his, and you want to have that mech a few minutes sooner, not at the same time. We'll see. They'll keep the pressure up for now. Glyph was finally used by the Radiant. Looks like Jay or possibly Fox will get the last hit. It will go, no, goes the way of the Dire. They still get the tower. Yeah. Not denied is the main thing.
This time, definitely not denied. No one was around there from Secret, and they're just going to keep up the aggression here. If you look at the net worth chart, it's kind of crazy how far ahead the cores are. It's not just that they have the top 3. There's more than 1K difference on all of them down to the Secret team in a 12-minute. In 12 minutes so far, so really, I don't know. I feel like Secret did a good job in that top fight, but it's like they have to do the same thing 3 or 4 times in a row to just even out the game.
And even if this is an even game late, I'm not like 100% convinced that Secret just out late game IAP. They've got a tricore.
No, me neither.
With 2 melee, specifically anti-melee carry heroes.
And the Prophet went Midas too,
yeah.
So he's gonna scale very quickly here. I think it was the right call in this game from AOE. To go for the Midas. They realize they're ahead, they realize they can play on the farm, and also that the other carries on the enemy team are so starved that he might reach a point when he can like one-on-one the Viper almost.
Yeah, come in with a Hex, maybe you have a +1, you just get a kill.
And the Necro book that he's building might also be looking to push very early, but
they're gonna Roche.
They're looking for Stoneman.
And there is Radiant Vision of this. They just dropped down a kind of unusual Observer Ward, but I believe it did see the rotations out of.
I don't think they're interested in fighting, though.
They just know. Like, that they can't walk into Exorcism. They don't have the burst damage.
The only way they win that fight is by bursting Death Prophet right in the beginning with everything. But if she gets the self-Yules off, and if they get the mech off on the Razor, which should be flying out now, which it will,
can't do anything about it. Just an uncontested Aegis for Execration. IAP still looking good, but Secret trying to find the trades wherever possible. Now pushing the top lane with the Sven ultimate. There is no Exorcism. Could be a bit of a dice roll to force the issue mid without that Exorcism. If Secret were ever going to take a fight, it would be right. Not, yeah, there is an Aegis, but it's an Aegis on a hero who doesn't really do all that much. Just nukes, silences, and has Eols. Decent for this stage of the game. Not the beast that she is when the Exorcism stands, and looks like Secret don't go for that yet. They'll secure their tier 1 top, going the way of Kuroki's Viper, and now they Moonlight Shadow. Do they rotate in? They have Big Daddy coming. Oh, he's going to go in right now with the Ravage to start. Caught out 2. Secret all ready to fight. Earth Splitter was dropped and brought down the Aegis as well as the Nature's Prophet. Do they kill off that Death Prophet again? Jay trying to retreat out. He uses himself in the air right as the Viper Strike comes through. And then he looks to turn. They've stolen a good amount of damage from S4. And they only lose a Nature's Prophet, who immediately buys back and says, you know what? They can't fight us now. We're going to push in. Not sure if that's 100% true, as there is now also a blink on the Sven. But they will try for it. Puppey searching for another arrow. They go in for the Sven stun. Again, a 2-hero stun. Anchor Smash to follow this. This could be rough for IAP. They stand their ground. Jay kept alive. Bottles, retreats, and resets. Fly will drop as well. 2 lost now for Secret. As well as, of course, the buyback and return to the fight from Prophet. Makes it a 2 for 2.
What a clutch play coming out from Chemo there. Getting a really good what's that called? Echo Slam. Wow, why is that eluding me right now?
Yeah,
Echo
he
Slam
interrupted
and
their
Fissure.
combo
He got a
nicely.
really good Fissure off before dying there as well, so pretty much salvaged the fight. And they even got 2 kills out of it, so all in all, definitely worth the profit buyback. And it just shows how much confidence they have that they went for that push without the exorcism. And then when they see the defense is coming, they're still pushing in. They just know how far ahead they are. And I think a really good play read there from them to try it. I think a lot of other teams sort of backed off, waited for the exorcism. But they have so much momentum and so much to do right now that they maybe don't want to wait that 1.5 minutes to give Kuro like a chance of getting a mech, for example.
Yeah, and it's also just the way they're playing around the cooldowns. Like, as soon as Ravage is down, just go. Doesn't matter if you've lost a few heroes. You know Secret are still weak. Don't take your foot off the pedal. They're on a big stage in foreign land. You know, it's not easy to keep that confidence. It's one thing when you're on home turf, but they're showing it in uncomfortable circumstances. S4 will now get spotted out.
He's
as
very
smoke,
dead A-Way right now.
A-Way's completely screwed. There's 3 heroes rotating in, and they'll bring him down. A nice pick off there. That ends up being a dieback for the Nature's Prophet, but not for nothing. They got a tower mid. They still ended up with an okay exchange. Still, it delays the Necro 3, which would have been much closer to completion. He would have had at least 1, if not 2 components had he not died back.
I'm not sure how sold I am on this Bloodstone this game from Jay. I think...
Feels like a really good BKB game to me.
That was what I was getting at. Like, this is a really good BKB game, especially considering how Secret's carries have very low farm, so the physical damage is not enough to bring him down, and even against that, he can just duel one of them and kite them around, so I think that would be a nice choice, but...
Going on mid. Oh, quick blink out from S4. They actually had vision on Fly and wanted to jump him at the Ancients. They will Fissure. He has Ravage, though. Not sure
force the Moonlight Shadow here.
Yeah.
No, back off.
They really wanted to jump him, but S4 was just like patrolling this region, so they couldn't smoke up the ramp. Nice play by him. Do you think IAP got enough with that Aegis? Is it good enough, or do they need to be getting better exchanges as we move forward?
I think that was good enough, especially if they get no-tail right now. Jay, it's really fast. There's the Yules. Is there a follow-up? There will be a concussive shot coming in here. Yeah, that's more than enough.
They can just auto-attack the support Elder Titan down. That's scary. Easily dealt with. And now they can push in. A lot of the D-push removed. Exorcism popped. They've got a single creep here to make sure there's no backdoor protection. And they'll use that to their advantage. While Secret are busy fighting Treant's top lane. Not really ideal for them, but not like they can defend this either without the Elder Titan. And also, to boot, Fly doesn't have mana for Ravage anyway right now.
I think if you're Execration, you might want to push this a little bit further just to force some TPs. This is exactly what they're going to do here.
Silencing up to the high ground, Jay, just, I guess, to make sure nobody's lurking.
And then missing the Crypt Swarm.
Yep, well.
Just
better
lowering
safe than sorry.
Lowering his spell accuracy a little bit here so he doesn't look like he's
been too OP.
Using aimbot. But yeah, that's still good enough for them right now to get that tier 2 tower. Now, if you're Secret, you want to be looking for something right now. You're losing the entire map, so I think going for the smoke play here is the right call. They need to find a key target, open on him, burst him down, and then maybe get a tower here would be a really big play.
Razor's a very tough target. Fox is behind the tree line with the Skyreth backing him up. The rest of the team also
Shaker
joining the
knows
lane.
this is happening. This is going to be perfect timing from IAP.
Right as they wrap around, Chemo could be the one to completely turn this gank. They jump in on RR. Fissure is ready. Nope, not being used. Two jump in. They get the clean kill.
Well, I'm not sure how clean this is if Iwi gets the... No?
Do they want to go on this? There's still a Ravage. It's going to be tough now to fight up that hill.
A little bit of indecision there from Chemo. I think if he fissured faster, that might have saved the Skywrath, but...
Yeah.
No, it's still...
It looked like he was worried he'd only hit 1, and then it would be a wasted fissure, but by the time he found the 2-hero fissure, it was too late.
Yeah. So Secret do get a kill, but they don't get anything more, and I don't think they're satisfied with that. It's not enough. Wow, where did that Yules come from? No-Tail's got a lot of farm. I was worried this Elder Titan wasn't going to do anything if he got a bad start, but he's found so many levels and a good amount of farm. So.
But it comes at a cost, right? Kuroki is dirt poor.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a 1-position Viper, but it's now become a 4-position Viper.
Yeah. He won't stay that, though. They definitely will want to farm him up, because they will need that single target damage.
They also need that lockdown just to kite the Razor and Death Prophet. That's not something Sven can handle later on.
In theory, you could just build the Elder Titan into a carry, but when he's gone for a utility build like this, they don't want to give him farm priority.
By the way,
it's not good enough.
Jade went back for BKB. Did not complete the Bloodstone.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So I kind of like that. You get like the value HP from the point booster while you're strong, and now when the real fights are coming, you get the BKB. So
being Secret is very difficult right now. Any sort of mistake in a team fight could lose them almost a tier 3 in this top lane in addition to that tier 2, because this lineup pushes fast. Also got Jamie, I want to call him Jamie Foxx. I don't know why that comes to mind every time. But if they get the BKB on him as well, which they will soon, where's Secret just flat out don't have the damage.
They are so far ahead right now, but they try to turn it. Nice jump in from S4, but the Yule's got off, and now S4 is in a bit of trouble. The Ravage will come through. Jay dropping low, never got to BKB during all that time. Ends up falling, 2 dead. What a jump. And a bit of a panic move there. Could have BKB'd himself instead of Yulzing. Now they lose Chemo as well. That's 4 heroes down. A complete turn. Secret digging deep.
Yeah, that was a huge difference. I think the Death Prophet of Jay forgot that he got his BKB because intuitively you want to BKB there instantly when you see the jump in, but instead he self-Yules. It takes longer time, and the Ravage timing out of Fly there was just completely perfect, so he didn't even get the BKB off after falling down from the Yules.
Yeah, you got to know
just when it looks like Secret won't be able to pull it off, they just got a 4-0. Maybe even the tier 1 mid. There is a glyph though, which I think will be used here. Yeah, they're not getting the tower in this run, but just getting 4 kills is a huge gold swing. That was about a 5,000 gold comeback. And now leading on experience, but Fox going in. Yeah, S4 overstayed welcome.
Yeah, you're not welcome here anymore. And the nice body block to bring him down. Is Roche respawning? Nope, not yet. Could be in the next 3 minutes.
Gonna get the tower deny. So still very, very successful fight for Secret, even losing S4 there. I think overall I would consider it worth it, him dying just to get the tower removed, even though it got denied. It's very crucial for Secret to get some sort of map control here.
It sets up these Moonlight Shadow plays, the smoke ganks. They're the better team for that type of movement in general. More stuns, better initiation. It's an area where IAP are a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, we saw it right before. If they're not getting the fight on their terms, I feel like their team fight recovery in that last fight was pretty poor. They could have done way better than getting an 0-4 in that. If they had used their abilities perfectly and used their items correctly, they could have maybe got an even trade, but instead they got run over. And they can't afford to make that mistake again.
One thing that could change things is Chemo's blink. Their Shaker's about to pick one up, allows them to reposition, gives them just an interruption stun, which right now IAP really don't have. They have the Yules, but that's it. And this gives them some counterplay potential that they were lacking up to now. He will farm it soon. In, I guess, an interesting development, Roche is going to be close to the max respawn time, which means Secret may have time to complete some of their next big items. The Blink Dagger's been out on the Sven, BKB, he's closing in on. He may have it in 2 minutes, and your Viper for Krogi already picked up a mech, now works towards his BKB or his Ags, most likely next. Not too far off of at least a component of those. 4-staff was completed on Fly since then, has another 1,600 gold, and well, even Big Daddy's built up a 4-staff. Good kiting items here for Secret.
That Elder Titan. He's still ahead of Kuro.
That's crazy.
Roche respawn in 50 seconds. I think IAP will be looking for that and probably claim it as well, unless if Secrets sniff it out and get a really good opener. But speaking of Secrets, they've got pretty good vision right now around that area. So, that I did not just draw that second circle. It almost
really,
touched the horn. Yeah, it's getting late. But yeah, the Roshan fight is going to be really big right now. It's crucial for both teams, and if either team comes out significantly ahead, it's the turning point for Secret where they're going to take an actual lead in the game. And if IAP get it, they will probably get it with a not only the Roche, but maybe with a team fight to go with it. And with their 2 BKBs,
don't walk into that. Okay.
You know, I still want to say that this team fight for Secret is so incredibly hard, but they pulled it off the last time, so they can do it again. But there's still a lot of things going against them.
It's tougher now, though. There's double BKB. So you've got to deal with the Razor and the Death Prophet. And early, too, before Razor starts dealing damage or just the Death Prophet just flat out.
I want to say flat out that Secret cannot win the team fight if those 2 BKBs go off before they get stunned. Like, the Razor will just run at the Sven, drain his damage. He's going to be useless the entire fight. Viper cannot deal the damage, and they don't have a source of, they don't have a way of bringing down the Death Prophet. So if the BKBs go off at the right timing, easy win for IAP. And that's a lot of pressure for Secret to play under, because that means especially the Ravage from Simba needs to be very, very clutch.
Haystern spawns bottom, and Bimbo maneuvers in for it. Puppy searching with an arrow. The entirety of IAP smoked up, aside from Ewe, who's just farming his own woods, but ready to join at a moment's notice. They breach high ground now in the Radiant jungle. Still maneuvering as a pack of 4+1 in that Prophet. Do they find any openings? Doesn't look like it. They're going to circle back to the Roche pit. They will bring this down quickly. And if Secret want to contest, they got to come like right now.
I think they'll be too late for it even if they start moving now. This takes too long. The Vipers in the top lane will have to TP down. They're effectively taking a 4-on-5 fight into a team that's ahead if they do this. So I think the play call here from Secret is just, let's not go. It's too late, we can't make it. Aegis will go the way of maybe the Razor. Yep, he's going to claim that one. And now they need to get the hell out as well, unless they want to get caught here.
They're going to throw out an Earth Splitter on the Airway. Now the arrow clips on Jay, and then they followed up with a Ravage. A perfect one from Fly. Got off the Yule Scepter, the Death Prophet did. Now, well, the Ghosts return, perhaps at the right time to save this fight. They bring down 2. They only lost their Prophet for Airway. And IAP still salvaging what looked like it could have been a disastrous fight. They're just too tanky. Not a self-Yules and a defensive Yules from Big Daddy, but won't save him necessarily as Chemo's found him with the Fissure. They do lose their Skyreth Mage to Puppy's Mirana. Clipped him on the backside.
Oh, he's going to force down here.
No tail. Able to retreat down to the low ground. So it's a 2 for 2 overall. Not getting the full recap there. But they still hold on to their Aegis on Fox. And they get the Roche kill.
Yeah, and that was just Razor and DP getting their BKBs off. And then the fight was lost. And
also
that was with a really good Ravage.
Right as Ravage happened. So like, there's no way you're killing Jay anywhere.
Yeah, it's like so that also means the Ghosts weren't even dealing damage in the fight. In addition to that, so they kind of had a couple of things stacked against them, and they still won the fight. That was a 4-man Ravage. I think Simba got the perfect opener on that, and they still got a draw out of it after losing Roche. So. And not only him, they also got a 2-man Earth Splitter, which hit the Shaker so he couldn't blink. Like, you can't get a better fight than that.
And they got the arrow and the Death Prophet as well.
That was like pretty much perfect execution, and they still got a draw.
Yeah, and they did force out the Nature's Prophet buyback, but with all the extra gold he got from the fight, it makes up for it. So, IAP now, they complete their Bloodstone on Jay. They still have item progression here for Fox. 1,600 gold can work towards his Aghanim Scepter. But the game has kind of evened out and slowed down. It's only a slight lead for IAP from the massive lead, like 7K gold lead they had at 8-9 minutes. It's a very manageable 2,500 gold lead at 27 minutes. And they do have Elder Titan, a hero that can give any lineup, no matter how farm fits, if he hits the Earth Splitter, if he gets the Spirit on multiple heroes. The plus armor right now for IAP Sin, it's a bit lacking. They have a mech, and that's it, actually. Nothing else. So that removal of base armor will still play a significant role this game.
Yeah, I think we're going to see both the Death Prophet and the Razor building some armor after the next items, though. Razor has 11 armor right now, of which 6 will be removed, so effectively 5, which is not that good, but still enough with the BKB on. As long as he gets the drain off on Sven like he did in the previous fight, S4 was useless in that fight. He blinked and he got a stun off and then he died. That's kind of the fate of Sven in this draft right now. And I think it's a plate mail next for Jay.
Yeah, he's got plenty of HP, already up to 1,900. That will give him the most effective HP possible, getting some armor. And IAP do smoke. They bring Chemo as well as RR through the Radiant Jungle, just maneuvering for a pickoff, and it might be Kuro they find. He's out real far. This is a wave too far for Kuroki. About to get caught out now. The Echo Slam's there from Chemo. Follow-up Mystic Flare, can the Force Staff save him? Fissure was already used. It looks like it will. And Chemo now has to dodge an Earth Splitter. He walks up into Simba, tries to TP out. That won't happen. Looked like a really out of position play from Kuro, but the great defensive Force Staff from No-Tail saving him again. No-Tail has just been the savior of Secret in both of their matches today.
Yeah, he's been playing very well in this game. I think this game is even more impressive because of how far they're behind and how much he's delivered. There's been very few mistakes from No-Tail in this mid-game, and yeah, they're pulling it back. It's almost back to 0.
Here we go. Top lane, Secret looking to use this momentum to their advantage. They see Jay, and he's out real far. Blink Ravage is ready. They almost held. They go in now. Sten Stun, instant cast of the ultimate, but he gets off the Yules. Does he BKB? Will it matter? The BKBs, but they still run him down again. Secret striking back with a vengeance. And IAP just looking like they're starting to slip as we approach the mid-game. Well, get way into the mid-game and approach the late game. They might get the trade here on Kuro, but they kind of need this trade at this point. Sin will TP out. No stuns, or do they have it? Nope, Mystic Flare's too late. He retreats to safety, and it's now a 16-16 game. Gold for the first time ever this game goes the way of Secret. Experience well in their favor at 4,000, and more importantly, IAP have not broken base yet with a Razor Death Prophet and a 7K gold lead at 8 minutes. They have to feel like this one is starting to slip away.
I still feel like just composition-wise, they still have the lead in terms of team fights if they use their items well. Just because of I think their lineup counters Secrets very well at this point. What gets dangerous is when Kuro probably gets his next item and Sven the same. Because when they can hit so hard that even the Razor will not be able to fend them off very quickly with a static link, that's when the burst damage can win the fight for them. So there's To me, IAP will probably, if the gold is even, they're ahead in the next 10 minutes, and after that, it's probably Secret gaining, because Sven with Elder Titan is going to be an absolute nightmare in late game.
It's really interesting the way S4 plays as Sven. You look at this here like, oh yeah, he's a really hard carry. He can consistently right-click in fights with a Wisp at his side, but he plays it like an assassin. Just blink on top of them with a Stormbolt, use the God Strength right before you blink in, and just look to kill them in 2-3 swipes with a follow-up from your teammate. It's like a Sand King who has way more physical damage or something. Just instant initiation.
And the Warcry,
yeah.
which we haven't put much emphasis on, but that 16 AoE armor against Death Prophet and Razor
It is big.
is pretty important.
They are going to push in this top lane. Should they lose a fight here, that's a refresher up for Fly. They got to be careful. BKB was used early by Jay. He doesn't want to get caught, but this also means that his BKB will wear off right when the real fight breaks out. His S4 moves under cover of Invis straight up the lane. The Earthshaker had a gem. Not sure who grabbed that. Ravage attempted. This time the Yules dodges it, and Fox BKB dodges it. IAP were quicker this fight, but it seems not quick enough to save Jay. Can they turn it from here? A lot of damage stolen by Fox, and now he surges back in. He's the gem carrier. He works on your Sven, but with the plus 16 armor, he's too tanky. They go for Puppey instead. They get the kill, but so far a Death Prophet from Mirana. The good news is Ravage is down, and with that IAP may yet take this tower. Another blink in, this time just working on the creep wave. S4 not committing to heroes, and the tower does drop. Not denied, although Kuro attempted it. IAP now have Secret down to just their tier 3 towers. They get a third BKB. They are very intent on stopping these initial stuns. One good fight could win it for IAP, but at the same time, I kind of felt that way at 5 minutes.
I think they need more sentry wards. And
well, they have the gem on the Razor.
They have the gem in the Necro 3, but the problem is the Razor, they kind of need to set the battlefield before the fight breaks out so that Secret have to move through the sentry ward, because then they can be the initiators. Having the gem in the Necro 3 isn't good enough if Secret initiate from like 1200 range with a blink opener from Simba, as they have done a couple of times already. And reacting to a Blink Ravage is not that easy when you have no idea when it comes, because you're not like literally sitting with your finger on the BKB the whole time for 30 seconds and being completely focused on that, because you need to look for other things on the map and in the fight. And if they find that opening, you saw it right there. Death Prophet got brought down really quickly. Of course, her BKB was on cooldown already, but she even managed to get the self-Yules off, and it wasn't enough. So
but
Secret are starting to get the damage now.
That's the kind of fight that IAP need. Like, if they do that and Exorcism's still going, I think they win that fight, because they dodge the Ravage with the Death Prophet and the Razor.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot different.
And now probably with the Prophet, too. He'll maybe be standing a little further away from the Ravage center, so he has a longer time to react on the BKB usage as well.
Yeah, for now, he's mostly just a walking Necro 3. This may change as he continues to add items to his inventory. Speaking of items, Big Daddy, he's closing in on most farmed on his teams, and 3.2k net worth, 6, 4, and 9.
It's
He's
incredible
been involved
too.
to 15 of 17 kills as a 4-position Elder Titan that's, I mean, might soon become a 1-position. Blink into the trees is S4. He's trapped out. He has a TP. Not using it. They get eyes on him now. He BKBs. He'll TP. But they force out his BKB. Now down to 8 seconds. And they know it's on cooldown, too. Maybe trying to start a fight now.
Yeah. The Roshan will respawn in 2 minutes. They obviously don't know that. Oh, that's a big item pickup for Simba here. The double Ravage is now going to be available. But in my mind, that's not the biggest difference maker right now. It's going to be much more important in 10 minutes when the BKBs from IAP have been used once or twice more and the Sven hits hard. Because I still think they can get the job done during the BKBs, but it kind of puts them on a timer, because like you were saying, you aren't sure that Secret's lineup is going to be stronger in the late game against this. With Elder Titan, double Ravage, and 4 heroes on Secret getting farm, I think it's safe to say that their late game might be better at this point.
The way the game's developed with a lot of deaths piling up on the Death Prophet, the Nature's Prophet going for more of like a split pushy build, not really a carry Prophet, and also just the fact that IP got very early BKBs. So there'll be low duration in the late game team fights when Secret fully come online. I think with all of that in mind, it does look more and more like Secret could take this late. They also just might be able to one-shot heroes with this Sven at some point. Still just a Mask of Madness for S4, though.
Oh, this is very early for IAP to go here. They don't know Roshan is spawning. Or
it's up
they don't know he's
soon,
not
actually.
spawning, rather. So they're getting ready here. But this Roshan could be respawning in more than a minute still. It's respawning in 30 seconds, but they're letting Secret get to their side of the map, and now they're going to have to TP top. The Prophet's going to cancel it, just intimidating here. Bought some time. I think that TP was probably worth it. Made the arrow from Secret go out. They're going to glyph now and buy some time, and now they're looking for the initiation angle. Secret need to be really careful here.
Backstab is coming, and in they go. Iwi starts it off with a nice Prophet Sprout into the Mystic Flare from the Scarlet Mage follow-up. Jay charging in as well. His Exorcism's going strong. He has the defensive Yules if needed, but the cleaves are too much from S4. He's going to bring down the Death Prophet. Secondary Ravage found every single hero in IAP, and they get overrun now. It seems Secret have just been able to outburst them in these fights. Now blinking forward to Chemo. It's 5 dead. A full 5-man wipe. Secret, well, they're fully back in it, and they're ahead now, Sind.
Yeah, they kited them very nicely there. The initiation from IAP did not work out as they were hoping. I think it's a mistake opening on the Viper, to be honest. He takes too long to bring down. They have like consistent damage over time, but not enough burst to bring him down. So he was not the guy they should be looking for there. I think finding the Elder Titan or the Tide and killing them before the BKBs wear out or wear off is much, much more important. And Simba waited for the right timing, got the first Ravage and the second one. I honestly don't even think he needed the second one there. It sealed the deal. But I think the fight was already in Secret's hands without that. Just the first Ravage was that good.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You use the second Ravage, you get 5 instead of 4 maybe, and they'll both be up in 2 minutes, which is probably the time that IAP can lick their wounds and look to even take a fight. Secret, they were staring at the abyss. Well, in some sense anyway. A 1-1 start. They could still have won the game against Na'Vi, been 2-1, but now they might feel like they can just take this game, where it once looked fairly bleak. And with that, Simba up to 2,200 gold. We could check our item progression in general for Secret and see what else they've added. Puppy, just the 4-staff. No Tails basically got a Hex. And Kuro sitting on 3,000 gold. And last but not least, your Sven. Daedalus nearly complete. All he needs is 1,400 more for the Demon Edge. With that next round of items, IAP are going to need an Aegis and maybe buybacks to take a fight.
Yeah. That Bloodstone for Jay has not paid off at all. He's died with it 3 times since he got it, I think, so hasn't really got any stacks or any value out of it. I think going for Roche is the right call. They know there's Ravage on cooldown.
They don't have Exorcism, though. Is it going to work?
That's true. They have it in 15 seconds. Secret's just intimidating them right now, with mainly with no tail.
But Ravage is up in 25.
Using Mirano, using the...
they did waste their Earth Splitter.
The Earth Splitter as well. It's kind of a big deal.
Oh, jeez.
But they're just buying time for their Ravage, essentially, with this play. 40 seconds until Simba will have 2 of them.
IAP could lose the game here. If they go into the pit, get 5-man wipe to a double Ravage, and give away an Aegis Cheese, this could go south quickly. Arrow will crash through. It only hits the Roche, and they do use the Exorcism to Secret commit. The Roche is dropping fairly quickly. Maybe they just wait until this Exorcism's about to wear off, even give them the Aegis, and then just try to take the fight from there. Sure, you have Aegis, but what's that hero going to do with it? Mystic Flare off the mark as Big Daddy will retreat. IAP again finding their Roche.
And this was with Cheese as well for Jay. Oh, they're going to Yule Mirana here?
They're going to go in on that. Not sure about that from Chemo. Now they turn on him. He gets 4-staffed up to the high ground, though. Nice defensive play as Kuro is the only one up the ramp, but he gets joined now. Nice BKB from Jay. He'll dodge that first Ravage. Fox standing strong. He's latched onto the Viper, but they've already lost 2. And now the Sven comes in. His damage not being drained. Goes to work here on Fox. S4 is chopping wood. He brings him down. This Razor will not return with ultimate, and Jay doesn't have Exorcism. He cheeses, and then they try to fight again, but a secondary Ravage comes through. Secret, maybe back off now. That was a zoning Ravage. Still, they forced out the Aegis, as well as the Cheese, and IAP don't have too much left in the tank.
Oh, arrow from Puppy.
Missing, but this won't. Stun from S4. Actually, BKB dodge, but anyway, it was going to hit. Otherwise, as Kuroki gets his damage drained, Big Daddy again with the stomp, and this one connects 2 onto Fox. They're just such a well-organized retreat. Still no Exorcism. They try to go on this Tide Hunter, but they just don't have the firepower to bring him down. As Puppy continues to be a thorn in their side on the side of the fight, he'll finally fall. That's not much of a trade, though, for IAP.
Secret are playing this very well.
Much there.
They're playing it very, very, very well. These mid-late game situations, we talked about it before the game. This is where Secret are going to probably start taking off from their incredible experience in this state in the game. And well, once again, IAP took that fight without Exorcism, though. It's a really big difference here that, and Secret are just taking advantage of it, that they can force the fight after Exorcism expires. And these fights are very different if Jay has it online, and maybe they can secure that if they try to force a push here. This is too early, though. There's 20 seconds. There will be no Ravage, though, for Secret.
This could be a timing window.
This is perhaps a really good play. I would probably wait for the next wave if I were them, because this is kind of risky right now. But he will have the BKB and the Exorcism as well as Yule's ready now, and no Ravages. This is the go time.
Beware of S4, though. They want to get off this Exorcism quickly. Viper Strike, trying to dodge that one with the Yule Scepter, will be successful. This next wave feels like a good wave to go, though. If you wait another wave, the double Ravage will up. They do find Jay, but that's a long way up the base to commit. Force Staff still keeps him on the path of that Earth Splitter, and he'll end up falling immediately. Not buying back. Fox getting sliced and diced by S4 despite having his damage drain. It doesn't matter. It's minus 140 damage. He's still sitting on like 300 plus as Ewe tries to TP out. IAP starting to fall apart here.
And he just TP'd to the top lane.
Well, he'll have to
panic TP there. But yeah,
maybe a quick cast.
What a crucial arrow from Puppey there. That was going to get really scary for them, and they land the arrow at the best possible moment. The Earth Splitter even followed through after the Force Staff. That couldn't have gone any better for Secret. That was the absolutely ideal fight.
And now they've got double Ramage, and there's no Aegis to worry about, nor Cheese on IAP.
Yeah, and their BKBs are starting to drop really low. 5 seconds on the Death Prophet, 5 seconds on the Razor.
And the Nature's Prophet is virtually irrelevant as far as the BKB.
I think if they didn't catch that arrow, that was going to be their best chance at winning the game of all. Now it's going to be harder. It's definitely within their reach still, but that right there was the best timing window they would have, at the very least in the next 10 minutes. There's like no way they get a chance like that again in that amount of time.
I mean, I feel like their best chance was when they were up 8,000 gold at 6 minutes.
That's true.
As of late, yeah, I would definitely agree. That might be their last best chance, that's for sure. Now, Secret's item progression. Late Gets Fear was actually the choice for Big Daddy, not a Hex, but he's got that out. The data list for S4 is prepared. He also has gold for more. And Kuroki can complete a Manta style if he wants, sitting on the Yasha for now. And what does he Time Hunter even go for? He's got double Ravage, he's got Blink Dagger, Force Staff. Shiva's perhaps the next choice, and he's close to that too.
I think Shiva's Guard is good, or a Kiras for the team. Either is good, depending on what they want to do on S4. If he wants to get the Kiras now, he should get the Shivas, obviously, but yeah, there's a lot of good choices right now. He could even get a Dagon if he wanted to here, and just be able to burst down heroes with double Dagon after using the Ravages is actually pretty good at this point with the short duration BKBs.
Well, Secret getting closer to turning around this game, and it would be their second turnaround of the day. For their fans, it might be a little scary having to watch them start out at a deficit, seemingly like every game as of late. But if anyone can turn it around, it seems this squad, they might be the comeback kings. At least they're playing that way lately. And IAP just, the wind's out of their sails. They don't have the Aegis to work with. They continue to lose fights, or at least break even when they have it, and so just flat out lose when they don't. I don't know what their move is at this point. Item progression's been halted for some time on everyone. Fox hasn't picked up a new item in a long time. The Nature's Prophet continues to farm, but how is Ewe going to carry this game? There's just so much collateral AoE to walk into as a Prophet. And you're not winning a man fight against the Sven or a Viper. Not for much longer anyway.
No, he's going to... I think a good call from IAP now would be to get some bonus armor that affects everyone. So both Akira's and a Vlad's, I think, would be very nice. I just don't know how they should distribute that farm on their heroes right now. But that would definitely be a good choice at this point. They need to survive against that Sven, and having armor in every hero will, of course, make a really big difference. Although, essentially, the biggest problem they have is the double Ravage, and they can't just buy new BKBs. That's been changed in 6.8.2, and that means in this kind of late game situation, you either tank up really, really heavily, or you just lose to the better carries, which are on the Radiant team.
Yeah, certainly if they get the Ravages, they have the better carries, because these heroes just die at that point far too quickly. Jay will wrap around.
Trying to wrap around here,
going for the backstab, and at the same time, S4 is patrolling. So it's almost like they're expecting.
Oh, they know Big Daddy is in base, though. There's no Elder Titan.
The fissure onto Puppey will start off. Jay now getting forced down as S4 just dives straight onto a Chemo Echo Slam. Didn't get too much accomplished, and Jay ends up falling. S4 still at full HP. He kills the Necro Book. That did more damage than every other hero in this game. Ravaged by Fly caught absolutely nothing, though. Ewe, I think, was still BKB'd, and the Yule Scepter keeps another alive, the Skywrath Mage, for a bit longer, but no, won't be enough in the end. That was a completely fail Ravage. Didn't matter. They still win the fight, get 3 kills. If they can win a fight without even ravaging a hero, then your chance of taking this game
IAP are just getting kited. That was a 4-on-5 for the first 5 or 10 seconds before Elder Titan BOT'd in, I think, or well, at least 5 seconds, and they just don't have the damage anymore. They've missed their timing window, and Secret are starting to take over now for the late game.
They may even try to end this game now.
Yeah. Secret. Wow, they're really far ahead. I didn't think it was this much. 25,000 experience.
All right, look at that climb. They had a long climb to go, especially with how early it was, but they've really turned it. No Tail looking for a stomp here. There is still a Tier 1 and Tier 2 bottom.
Taking the bottom Tier 1. 45-minute game. Just shows how much they've been playing on their whole half of the map. But they've been playing so well defensively that it doesn't matter. They don't need that lane. They're going to go for the mid lane. They will have one Ravage available right now for Simba, but decide to wait. They feel like they have the better late game. They're getting split pushed. I mean, why go right now if you don't feel confident? You know that the way this game has been developing over the last 15 minutes, you're getting more and more, a better and better grip on the game. And why try to risk anything to throw it away now?
I still feel like if IAP had more items, that they could be fighting very effectively at this point. Like, imagine if Death Prophet had a heart, completed Shiva's guard, maybe a refresher even. S4 will find
S4 getting hexed.
I'm not sure what the plan is here, though. There's no follow-up for this, and anyway, will BKB dodges the Sven stun, does force out God Strength, so I suppose just trying to bait out S4's spells. Pretty nice there. But, like, imagine if the Razor had an Aghanim's refresher, maybe he completes this butterfly, builds a heart, like, get 1 or 2 more items on each carry.
Yeah, they've just been out-farmed as well. That's another story.
Yeah.
Like, their CS hasn't... The Prophet's obviously doing great, but he's a Prophet, right? So he's expected to do this well. The Razor should probably have more farm at this point. Death Prophet maybe another 50 or another 100 even if they're doing really well on farm. So as far as using the map effectively, I think Secret has just done a better job at finding farm. And IAP are paying for it right now. They might be able to get the next Roshan soon. He's actually spawning in like 30 seconds, so it is possible. But if they lose this fight, it's the game. But I think they have to make that play. They're not winning a fight without Aegis Cheese anymore.
They're certainly losing if they don't get it. There's just no way. That would be another miracle. And I don't think anything else is going to match that fissure that began this game. Man, what a crazy start it was. Well, Kuroki, farming the mid lane, he's completed a heart, has another 2,600 gold on top of that. Everybody on Secret begins to tank up, if they haven't already. And the Roche will now respawn. Secret's still hanging back with most of their heroes, just leaving their Tidehunter in the bottom lane, now completes a Shiva's guard, and has another 2,000 gold in the bank. The item progression is here for every single hero. As Ewig does get stomped and then slapped by the
Kuro's
other
really
side.
far up. They're using him as bait here.
They really can't go on
IAP
this.
are not eating it, though. Tide is still in the bottom lane without BOTs, though. They might try for this. He can't reach the fight that early, and the Ravage has been a crucial part of it. Now it's going to be an opening.
They're going to have to now, as Fox has gotten caught out. No, maybe not. Defensive fissure. We'll bait it out.
Whoa, what a BKB there.
Maybe he thought the Tide was like smoked and coming in for a Ravage. I'm not sure, but it wasn't the case. At this point, what do BKB charges matter? As long as you're not having to fight during that cooldown, they're all pretty much 5 seconds for IAP anyway. Or very close to it. Yeah, I think they are all 5 at this point. Top lane, I moved the camera for a half second. Just jumped in and assassinated the Nature's Prophet. That's a Nature's Prophet who is supposedly more farm than the Sven. But you can see that the heroes just don't use the farm the same. They do find the Viper of Kuroki. Can he TP out here?
Gonna take them a long time to bring him down.
He just walks through a Mystic Flare. This guy is tanking bazooka shots, and S4 lurks on the high ground. He looks to jump back in, while the Spirit of Big Daddy also searches for a pickoff.
Oh, this is a
Fox
good sentry
wrapping
ward.
around, another stun, this one onto RR. The fissure, too late. Arrow also fishing for an opening, not gonna happen as Fox just gets right-clicked down by S4. This Sven is too strong. Even Big Daddy finishing that kill off with the stapler. This might just be over. IAP just can't fight. Everyone on their team's just too squishy.
Yeah, and Secret are doing a good job at split pushing the lanes too. There's not much of an opening for Prophet to suddenly just start backdooring a tier 3 or something like that. They never really get the opportunity. Oh, Jay! Gonna get caught out as well!
This could be the nail in the coffin. Double Ravage. Shiva's guard to fly through as well.
He didn't even use the second Ravage.
Yeah,
Still
just
has
refreshed, has it ready. Thought he was going to. Just immediately preparing for the next fight. That's 5 dead now.
Yeah, there is buyback on the Death Prophet. We'll probably have to use it here. Razor does also have it, but it might be able to stall for those 25 seconds. They have a full HP tier 3. They have... No, they don't have Glyph. Ah, 15 seconds. That might be on time as well. So, yeah, Death Prophet will have to buy back, else they're going to lose at least one lane here.
Still, look at how quickly S4 is crushing buildings. He's popped his God Strength. He's got a Mask of Madness on. This guy is a demolition army. He'll bring down the range racks. In a matter of 5 or 6 swipes, the melee will fall too. He's sitting on plus 431 damage on the Sven. Nearly 600 damage in auto attack before the crit. They will concussive shot him. The good news is the ult has finally worn off. A slight reprieve. but only a slight one. Puppy does get caught out on the sideline of the fight, but it's just the Mirana, and they can't even kill that. This forces out the Death Prophet buyback. They still lost the lane of Rax.
Yeah, and this is not a good Prophet buyback. They need to wait until they find the opening, so they force the fight first, because the moment Secret sees that buyback, they're just going to pull out. They're like, great, another 1,500 gold for us, and just back out.
And they'll have the double Ravage soon. Only 100 seconds to go.
Death Prophet is sad enough. She just sold the Bloodstone to finish a Shiva's. Really feels like she needs that, but I don't know.
Is it going to matter? I mean,
yeah.
It'll help her not get chased down by the Sven. But it's not just the Sven that's a problem anymore. Kuroki's become one too. He's picked up a heart. And if this Sven gets off that initial stun with a heart of his own now complete for S4, I think can potentially even kill the Death Prophet before she gets to use the Shivas or the Yule Scepter. And there's still the BKB. It's only 5 seconds, so there's not much duration there. They scout the Roche pit. They need this Roshan somehow for Secret to just screw up a fight in a big way.
Yeah, I don't think Secret's going to give them a chance at it. They can just keep pushing the base, and IAP will have to be on the defensive. And the chance that IAP get a good opening now is really low. As a matter of fact, they're just going to get their Scarith Mage completely destroyed out here, and counter ward as well.
And they're doing this without the Viper. Kuroki's just pushing in the top lane, working on the melee racks, pounding into it. Nobody even in the area code. He's in a different state right now, but he's just not afraid at all. And by the time they can actually get onto him, he walks back in because he's got backup incoming from Fly with one Ravage ready, a second coming soon. BKB forced out by Simba, but he's just holding the Ravage for now to get the Hex off. Then the Echo Slam attempted, but Ravage will turn this fight back the way of Team Secret, and they just have too much at this point. They get into the base of IAP, they get up in their grills, everybody alive, 4 heroes dead, Secret overrunning IAP, and they're going to cap off what has become an incredible comeback for them. Now they lead by 32,000 gold after trailing at 6,000 at, what was it, 7 minutes? 8,000 at 7 minutes, something like that. Jesus.
Almost 1,000 gold per minute they were trailing. I think about 10 minutes in they were like 8k behind. It was something like that. It was pretty scary here.
It's a tough game because, you know, it's like part of it was Secret came back and played really well, but part of it was you just see the missed opportunities for IAP where with a little more experience they could have just snowballed that advantage and just flat out won this game. But now their throne's in jeopardy, and well, we don't want to go to the console. We want to see this throne die as S4 gets caught by a Mystic Flare, but he just keeps on working on it. Now the Ravage comes through from Fly. He doesn't have the secondary one, doesn't need it. Solo kills the Scarith Mage, Jay will get focused, throne will finally fall, and what was almost an incredible upset ends up being a Secret victory. But again, they get off to a slow start, and at some point it feels like a team is just going to punish that, and they won't get to come back.
Secret are playing some extremely, like in this game, that's just such a greedy early game support duo. Elder Titan, Mirana together, it's so much up to landing some very... It's like, on level 1 you don't really have anything, and on level 2 you're very dependent on hitting, for example, an arrow as the setup, and you're combining that with a safe lane, or was it the Viper down there, so... IAP got off to a great start once again. I feel like, looking forward to tomorrow, Secret's last match of the group is going to be against Na'Vi. Na'Vi is a team that's also really good at playing aggressive in the laning stage. I think Secret needs to draft better early game laning, because again, a team like Na'Vi, I think, are still a step above IAP, although IAP is surprised positively for sure. But if you give Na'Vi that kind of lead against Secret, I think they're going to run them down. Like, you cannot draft this greedily against them, or if you do that, you might have to put the lanes different or something, or at least not keep giving kills in that safe lane.
It could have been different. That would have been quite a storyline. Still, I think it's a great one. That fissure, something we'll want to watch on our instant replay. This does conclude our regular group stage games, though. Guys, coming up next, we have the All-Star match. So we'll take a quick break. We'll break down this match as we get the team set up for the All-Star match. Team God versus Team Big Daddy. Coming back very soon. You're watching Starladder Season 10, brought to you by Beyond the Summit, live here from Kiev. We'll be back soon.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.